Hey, how you doing guys? ZDEyE here. So today I wanted to talk about regarding of the very recent and very kind of a scary things that has been happening during the 2020, and it's happening basically all over the world, starting with a C and has something to do with a beer. Of course, I'm not going to say what it is exactly. Again, YouTube is a little bit weird about it. That's why I'm not going to say the words. But yes, I need to clarify one thing for sure, because regarding the thumbnail that you might have seen already of this video is a little harsh, and just that saying that worse is about to come. That is, of course, if the situation does not get any better. And as of currently, it did seem to have slowed down, but it's not necessarily meaning that it has stopped. Basically, it's still spreading. Yeah, anyway, but basically I'm going to be talking about specifically gaming in general. I'm not going to be talking about anything out there like, for example, movies or circumstances, hospitals. I understand those are much more pressing matters and more primary things that we all should be concentrating on, and not gaming. But again, this is commentary, this channel is all about gaming. I'm going to be talking about specifically gaming wise anyway. And so what I wanted to talk about this in general, yes, I personally believe, this is an opinion again, everything may still get worse than we expecting initially. Don't get me wrong, I'm not trying to fill in negative stuff into your heads. I am trying to be realistic, but I also kind of want to see the negative parts of this also that could be influencing and in the future of the gaming wise anyway. Maybe not now, but there's still very big possibility this problem might be happening in a month, in a two, hell, even in a year, even if this whole thing gets resolved by then. Basically, you know what, let's get into the first bullet point I wanted to touch on is basically regarding the shortages that definitely is already happening in the gaming world. Such as like, for example, collector's editions, for example, physical editions of the games that whenever you would like to make and go and purchase. And on top of that, some of the stores are getting closed down as well, so physically you can't exactly pick up these games no longer. Sometimes you could get an opportunity, maybe saying like if you would order it online and it could come to your home, because sometimes post office, some of the post they do work, but you know, not the fullest degree as well. Again, stores are getting closed down, there's shortages as well, because that can be influencing the delays in the video games as well. Yes, I'm also referring to big games such as The Last of Us Part 2 and also Ghost of Tsushima, even though these games are still ways off. For The Last of Us Part 2 currently is about to hit April, we're about to hit into April, so there's still about 2 months to go. So there's still plenty of time until all this could be getting resolved, but we have to understand due to the circumstances, everything has been slowed down with the productivity rate, and here's that. Production rate, the development, that has been slowed down as well, because as you guys already know, all of the developers, well, I shouldn't say that, I should say most of the developers that are working on the games, they have been sent home working from home. Now that's a good thing, but also that's a very bad thing too. Basically this means that everything is going to slow down dramatically. Basically the development will be slowed down by far, maybe twice slower, maybe 3 times slower than initially. If the developers would have been in the studio, everything would have been up to gears and much quicker on that wise. And again, whatever you want to hear or see on the articles and saying like if you know the developers are getting opportunity of chance of actually making the games through the comfort of their homes, and they say that it's not going to be slowed down with the productive rate. No, that's bullshit. That's not true at all. Number one, you're in a comfort zone. You can do whatever you like pretty much at home without anyone's ever saying like, for example, oh, you can't go there or you can't go there, for example, right? You can take your breaks whenever you want to. You can lazy off as well. Sometimes you don't have full concentration on what you need to do. Everything will slow down. There's actually far more things to mention as well. For example, checking the work that you have progressed through, how much you have done. You need to show it off and show it to the higher ups as well. Was it fine? Is enough fine? You will not be able to get some some of the rewards from the bosses as well, and what needs to be taken the opportunity and the steps for this particular thing that you're working on. These things will slow down dramatically. On top of that, the equipment that you might have at home, it might not be this as much sufficient as it could be as the way it is actually that you're working on, perhaps in the studio as an example, right? At home you might have a shitty computer. At home you might have awful internet connection, and currently internet connection, right, it's only getting worse as well, right? PlayStation Network download is getting throttled, bottleneck as well happening in Europe, and now is also confirmed happening in America too. This is just getting worse, obviously. We need to also touch on the other games as well. Cyberpunk 2077, even also the Marvel's Avengers game, even though they are coming out in September, but because of this, development is still continuing even as we're speaking. And again, it's already been confirmed that the developers are back at home doing their jobs, but this productive rate has been slowed down as well. So there might be a chance or even a possibility that these games may get delayed again. That's also including The Last of Us Part 2 and Ghost of Tsushima on top of that too. It's already been confirmed regarding the shortages of the Resident Evil 3, Final Fantasy 7. That's already been confirmed. A lot of places you will not be able to pick up these games. And it sucks, personally. And we're only about to hit April, and yet we're already seeing these issues coming up front. So what does this mean for next up front, for next games and stuff? And mind you, if this is how it goes and all the developers are home, we have to think about the very future of the games that, some of the games that were not even announced, some of the games that were announced. For example, all of the Ubisoft games, they're all going to be delayed. Well, we don't even know when they're going to be coming out at first as well, since they have been slowed down because Ubisoft were not satisfied with the progress of the Breakpoint game, Ghost Recon Breakpoint, by the way, and so that's why they decided to delay the game. And it's a good move, excellent move. That was a good thing to do, but because the unforeseen circumstances was happening around the world, all the games are going to be getting delayed too. Now, perhaps maybe everything is going to go sufficiently and just fine for the time being, but you have to agree that everything will slow down. Now, big thing, Grand Theft Auto 6. Grand Theft Auto 6 also may not get release that a lot of people will be expecting it. It may get even completely far further delayed. Like, for example, the game could come out in 2022, but because of this situation, it may now come out in 2023 instead. The announcements, we have to talk a little bit about that too. A lot of the game's announcements are not confident of saying when they would like to release their games, again, because of what's happening. For example, Grand Theft Auto 6 may have been announced on the 25th of March, but because it never was, obviously Rockstar didn't confirm that, obviously guys, but because Rockstar kept it silent and nothing has happened, a lot of people are pissed off as well about it, so yes, it's understandable on that part. But maybe because Rockstar is unsure when this will get resolved, the situation around the world, so maybe they decided to hold off on the Grand Theft Auto 6 announcement until everything gets far better in the world. And this is also including all the future games as well. I don't know, it sucks, I personally think so, but yeah. Next up, big ones, PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X. Yes, they may get delayed, or they will have substantial shortages of the consoles as well. In fact, many regions may not even have these consoles available as well, because shortages. If there's one part that requires for a console to be implemented, and there isn't any available, this really holds the production and the work progress on these consoles. On top of that, people may not go to work any longer because of the situation, right? It makes sense. If one part is not done, the developers, the workers, they will not be able to get the rest of the parts completed as well, because one part is bottlenecking everything else, if that makes sense. Now, I do apologize for being very kind of like a broken record, if that makes sense. I am very sorry about this, but I just wanted to come out and say these things as well. And man, it sucks. I personally think so as well. I don't know. I hope everything gets resolved by the time when we get closer to summer. I really do hope that. But so far that I have been reading through the news and everything, and as such, It doesn't seem like there's anything like a vaccine. There are some kind of implementations of the vaccines for, regarding it, but it doesn't seem like it's slowing down the rate of the growth of the situation as well. Well, it does slow down, don't get me wrong, it's not, but the problem, what we need to see is a stop. We need to see a stop sign on it. We need to see that nobody else gets into this situation, infection. It sucks. It really does suck. Alright guys, I just wanted to have a general discussion about this. I'm sorry again for being a broken record, but hopefully it was at least somewhat, informative in some ways. Alright, well then, thank you so much for watching guys. Like and subscribe, and yeah, have a good one.